famous.
Yes.
Yeah, just come to this warehouse in the middle of nowhere and don't tell anyone. Yeah, you know what that sound is. Dickhead.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Watch Horror podcast. This is the first episode of 2019. Happy New Year everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, to be completely honest, it's not the New Year for us. We're still in December.
We're well good actors though. So
yeah, that was great. Well done guys, you really sold the New Year.
No, our audience is so great that they're able to see us from the future.
Future us, especially Rob,
just
if you're
a
listening
miserable
to this.
old year.
Yeah, Rob, if you're listening to this and editing this, a Happy New Year to you, buddy. I hope you had a good one from your past self. Okay, so I'm Rob. We're here with Manny.
Hello, mate.
And Ruby.
Hi.
And we just finished watching the brand new film that's actually coming out tomorrow, if you're watching this the day of the release, which will be the 7th of January 2019. We just finished watching Terror Tales, which was and is a horror anthology movie, and it was fucking funny as fuck.
This one was fun. This one was silly amounts of fun, man. like for sure. This is the kind of thing that I kind of look for from an anthology movie. It was properly engaging in the way of like it was a bit nuts, and it was a bit it was very it was very funny.
Yeah.
It was good. It was like we all thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. I was looking around at the other two, and they were like smiling about as much as I was.
You lost it a few times, Manny.
I laughed uncontrollably at a couple of sections in this. It's
Well, we have to clarify this is a good thing.
Yes,
such a
Obviously,
good thing.
Normally, in a standard horror film, if we were saying about how funny it is, it wouldn't necessarily be a good thing. But with this, it's very much a good thing.
Yeah, completely. The tone of it is very over the top. It's kind of going for like that old school kind of like B movie kind of feel, and it's funny as shit, man.
I wasn't really prepared for that. Were you guys?
No. I saw the trailer and I knew bits of it. I didn't want to tell you guys beforehand because I thought I'd leave it, but I knew that it goes in some funny directions, especially with the wraparound. Luckily, this is one of those anthologies that has a really cool wraparound, so you follow a kind of story in between each little mini short. If you haven't seen a horror anthology before, and I'd seen clips from that and knew that the main guy in that was really funny.
Yeah, sure. I didn't have any expectation particularly, apart from the fact that, you told me it was like an anthology movie. And I mean, in terms of the structure, it definitely follows like the classic blueprint of those kinds of movies, but it definitely, didn't you say that one of the influences was Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah,
the
it has to
director,
be.
Jimmy Lee Combs, who sent us this as a private screener, so thank you for that, Jimmy.
Thanks.
Cheers, we really appreciate it. We love getting these private screeners. It makes us feel very good about ourselves. He said that this is his love for horror anthology and especially Creepshow.
Yeah, sure.
And Tales from the Crypt and all things like that. In fact, when you watch this, there's a bit that goes through it. It's a newscast, and the word that is called LF. What is it?
LFGR.
GR.
LFGR, which stands for. Sorry, I'm just looking through my notes here. I can't find it.
I'm going to get you a big fat highlighter for Christmas.
I need it.
Fulci is the set name, and then it's George Romero.
Yeah, so it is Lucio Fulci and George Romero. So they're big directors in Jimmy's.
Yeah, influences.
Yeah.
Good choices, man.
And he's kind of sprinkled this throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, completely.
Mm-hmm. There's a little bit where there's Jekyll and Hyde book, which is on the nightstand, and you could tell that he put that in there probably because he loves it.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is definitely like influenced by a lot of sort of horror classics. And it does definitely reference a lot of stuff. Like on the second segment, which is like an 80s throwback. and a lot of it is set in like a video store, and there's a lot of like little nods like put in there to a lot of like 80s. Oh yeah, the video nasty section.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it. It's kind of weird to because he mentions, oh yeah, we get weirdos that like video nasties, and he says, what's a video nasty? He says, oh, they're a particular set of movies that caused offence and were banned in the UK, and it's kind of cool to know that even over the pond they're like aware of that as a cultural phenomenon. So like, I should imagine anyone who's listening probably knows that there were a bunch of VHS like tapes that got banned in this country during the 80s. There was a massive like moral outcry. That this was like damaging children. It was like the Evil Dead, I Spit on Your Grave, I think was one of them. Last House on the Left. I think Reanimator was one of them as well. There was a bunch, man.
Yeah.
But like to know that it definitely like is influenced by a lot of that like stuff. For sure, it definitely
it reeks of it.
Yeah, especially that segment. There are a couple of like of gore effects, which I don't want to go into too much detail over just right here, but just so that they anyone who watches it gets the impact. But like, yeah, pretty grim, good fun. I like good practical effects. Like we like good practical effects on this podcast. It's old school, but in the best kind of way.
Super old school.
Yeah, completely. I've always got time for that.
Yeah, so it's coming from Heart and Fire Productions, one that I've not heard of before.
No.
But after this comes out, I really hope we hear more from. And it seems to be getting a decent amount of publicity. It's been an article on Rue Morgue, where they show the trailer and the poster. And someone that we know quite well, Promote Horror on Twitter, this huge Twitter page that promotes all kind of horror. And if you're someone that's trying to get your movie out, get in touch with them. It's at Promote Horror on twitter.com, and they will do what they can to help you, and they've been posting about this. And if they post about a film, it means that they actually like it and want to promote it. So that to me, when I saw that they were promoting it, I thought, great, that's good. We've got this coming up. That's all I need to know.
It's like a seal of recommendation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It feels that way anyway. Shout out to Promote Horror, and thank you for all the stuff you've done for us as well.
Yeah, completely. No, I completely second that recommendation. Again, if you want to watch something which is a lot of fun, like I mean, like a lot. Like I've seen a few movies like this where it's like a kind of OTT like lower budget anthology movie, and I've seen a lot of those, but this is definitely ranks as one of the better ones I've seen in terms of pure entertainment value. It's mental.
Well, you mentioned Tales from the Crypt, and that is the closest comparison, I think.
Yeah, completely.
Like, it stands on its own. It has its own 2 feet, definitely, but it really was very reminiscent of that. I think that's the last time that I laughed like this. At a film was when I watched Tales from the Crypt. Like it's a very similar sense of humour.
Yeah.
It's almost like half the time you're laughing in disbelief as much as just pure humour.
Completely. There were a couple of moments in particular which I don't want to go too much into, but there was one moment which involved a nun, which was...
That was special.
Oh, it was specialist. It really was. There was a moment involved a nun and Lucifer, and yeah, any more detail was going to spoil it, but my lord, I collapsed over myself. And I was sitting down, so that takes some doing. So we're first introduced to the kind of the wraparound story, which involves a family being kidnapped by a driver, a crazed driver, who is played, we checked, by a guy called Christopher Showerman. And he's brilliant.
He's so good.
He's fully brilliant. He sort of does that cold, like, kind of, like, it's just finding this whole thing funny. He puts, like, he's sort of holding the father, like, ransom in the passenger seat. And he's got the wife and the daughter, like, tied up in the back in, like, a trailer. And he just sort of does that thing where he just finds it quite funny, like, and he just sort of sees it casually the whole time. He does it really well. He has the right kind of a look, like the kind of the dead eye kind of a thing, but also knows when to like laugh. He's excellent.
It's like moments of mania, isn't it?
Yeah. Later on, especially, there's some real like unleashed moments of mania, which are super special. But yeah, no, props to Christopher Shower, and that was great.
Yeah.
That scene, actually, the whole wraparound, which is filmed a lot of driving, that was done completely filmed live. So they didn't have a green screen or anything. They Christopher Showerman was driving the whole time.
Yeah.
And acting like that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you know, it takes a lot to, I should imagine, to actually put in a decent performance where you've also got to look at the bloody road.
While I'm driving, yeah, I don't think I could do that. No way.
Yeah, you'd kill all of us, mate.
I probably would. So the first short that we get is called By Proxy.
Yeah.
And that is the story of a mother who, she was a writer, and we kind of get led into the story from the wraparound, Chris Showerman. Do we know his name?
No, he's just the driver.
Yeah, the driver.
He's just the driver.
He kind of alludes to this woman who is a really good horror writer, and then we go into the story, and her son kills himself in front of her, like shoots him, which is when we kind of first get the glimpse of how fun this is going to be, because her reaction is the first thing that set you off, Manny.
Yeah. No, it's all very sudden. You know, it's very sudden. The pacing completely threw me off.
Yeah, the quick cuts, the camera angle changes.
Yeah,
it all happens so fast. You barely get a chance to breathe, and then you realise you're not breathing anyway because you just can't stop fucking laughing at everything. It's so funny and so much fun and really well done.
Yeah. No, it's at first it was certainly a lot to get my head around, which I think kind of like, you know, the feeling you would feel if you saw your son shoot himself in the head with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, but then it sort of gets into the main meat of the story, which you don't get too much.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but I do want to talk about Inkman,
yes,
we're going to call him.
100%.
Is the creature that you meet in this. And this is where I think a lot of the production value comes in of how good this thing looked.
Yeah, no, the
so
costume
moist. It was just damp.
Moist is definitely
it was a perfect mix between practical and
like
CGI. Digital effects, wasn't it? Because the face was all completely like mask and what's it called, prosthetics, I guess, and all that kind of stuff. Like they clearly had fake teeth in.
Yeah, the movement
which was
as well
great.
Was great.
Yeah, and it was all of that mixed in with this quite beautiful ink effect. I really liked it, the way it floated around him. It was really cool.
We realised that this is something that the writer, she had written about in the past. And it's kind of come to life to kind of guide her through everything that she's done wrong in life. Played by Matt Block, the Inkman as well, so props to him, great job.
Yeah, that was great.
All the baddies in this were pretty great.
Yeah, they were. The villains were all generally pretty top notch, which are, you know, is pretty vital, I'd say.
Well, we get these stories, don't we, told, it's the driver telling these stories to the husband of the abducted family, which, like I was saying before, that again is definitely a massive reference to Tales from the Crypt and probably some other ones as well. But the idea of that is that there's a group of people and there's just one person sitting around telling them each their story.
Yeah.
And you just sort of think, like, obviously it takes a while for these stories to unfold for us, and I always think, like, what is the guy doing this entire? He's just listening to this crazed maniac telling them these stories just the whole time, thinking, what the fuck is gonna happen?
It gets really funny when they get to a gas station. I don't want to go too much into that because I don't want to take the laughs away from our listeners.
No, you don't want to spoil some of these moments.
I mean, you only have to. One of the only times in our 0.5 productions. It's coming out tomorrow, people.
Yeah, no, get on this.
The 8th of January 2019. It's going to be on video on demand, so you should be able to find it anywhere that you get video on demand. So check it out because you're going to get some great enjoyment out of this. It's 2 hours long as well, so you're definitely going to get your money's worth.
No, completely. You know, it's. I was engaged the whole time with this. Like completely. There wasn't a moment that I like trailed off or anything. Well, what is the second short?
It's called the Radical Video segment, and I just want to talk about this. The director, because this is very 80s. It painstakingly 80s.
It could not be more 80s.
No, and apparently so the director Jimmy Lee Combs, he worked so hard to do this and actually got so involved in carrying everything. He got hospitalised with a hernia.
Jesus.
From trying to build the set. A lot of it is filmed in a video store, and this is obviously an homage to back to the days of when we had video stores. Luckily, we were around. My parents used to go to a video store very often, and I was very lucky to be always like, you know, if you're good, you can pick a movie out. And this was back when videos were around. And
I do think
such a great experience. I feel so sorry for the young people of today that aren't going to get that chance to do that. I mean, I know we get video on demand, which is great because you'll be able to find this movie very
completely
easily. But going around like things like Blockbuster and places like that, and back then so many independent video stores.
That's what I was going to say. Blockbuster actually were probably the first evil for those smaller video shops.
We had one.
Yeah, it's just we had a local one in Ludlow, like a small family-run one, and that was where you went on a Friday night, and it was so exciting. We used to spend what felt like an hour just like browsing through them all.
We had one in Hythe called World of Entertainment, and my mum used to go. When you're a kid, it feels like stuff happened every day. So with my mum, we went there every day. It probably was once a week. But I remember the guy in there was so cool. He was great for me and my sister. He would tell us films to go and watch, and he kind of as I grew up, he knew what films I kind of was into and stuff like that. So he would recommend stuff. He was always recommending my mum stuff and giving us deals. I remember one time as well, I bought a game from there back when sometimes they would sell games, and he was like, we'll have a rumble pack with it back in the older N64 controllers. It really felt like it. I was thinking it's kind of very similar to what vape shops are turning into now, like the way that the
family businesses.
Well, yeah, I mean the way that in vape shops now, everyone in there, they're so friendly and they really want you to get to know them.
It's a hangout and a community.
Exactly, just like the VHS stores used to be.
Well, I was just thinking, obviously Netflix has that recommend feature, but my God.
We get matched.
It doesn't work.
You can't beat the human element. I mean, he says in this, doesn't he? You can't beat actually holding the physical copy in your hands, And I mean, as much as, I remember going to Blockbuster and all that, which obviously, you can't. It's not that comparable to an actual independently run video store, but I do think we kind of miss the glory days of VHS renting, which was the 80s. I think that that was very deliberate, and I should imagine it was probably a bit of a nostalgia blast.
My parents were thinking of doing one. They never did in the end, but they were really tempted into making their own one.
Thank God
I'm lucky they didn't, because they wouldn't be doing that now, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, that is a business that unfortunately has just kind of disappeared off the face. The other, there's a... You can't compete, unfortunately, but, we have things like this to remind us.
Yeah. In this film, or this short, there's a serial killer called Sledgehammer, and he, unfortunately for the owners of this shop, keeps leaving his homemade snuff movies mixed with a bit of porn as well.
For some reason.
For some reason. And leaves them sprinkled. He breaks into their store at night and leaves these videos sprinkled around and all of their cases. And I completely forgot that as well about VHS. When you went in these stores, you'd hand them the box, which would be the box of the film that you're getting, and they would give you just a stock box, like a white box, and obviously that's because they didn't want to lose the boxes that they had.
Yeah, right.
They'd leave them sprinkled out on that, and you could tell at the back of their store there was shelves filled with this. So they had no idea who was taking this, and there's a really funny bit where this lady comes in and gets really annoyed at them and kind of chucks them. And what is the video store next door? That opposite the street.
Smash Hit Video.
Yeah. Smash Hit Video.
And what does she say? In a really funny way?
So she comes in and she says, you sick perverts need to watch your videos more carefully. I put in my copy. I rented Bambi for my child, and a big penis flashed on the screen. I'll never rent here again. I'm going across the street to Smash Hit Videos. And I was, these two will vouch. I was destroyed.
You were slapping your belly so hard.
I was slapping myself all
It was
over.
a perfect balance between performance and delivery. Well, delivery and the line.
Yeah, it was so good. That whole segment was super charming to me. It definitely had that, it was a really good homage to that, the charm of VHS, but also a lot of the slasher movies of the 80s for sure. And,
I think it was. I think I will go as far to say it was probably my favourite segment.
Yeah.
They're all great. They're all really great. But I think it probably was my
say.
favourite. With an anthology, I feel like you just naturally choose your favourite, don't you? And
yeah,
I think
of course.
That was the one with the best laughs and the best horror as well.
Oh, mate, some of the gore in this was gruesome. Of
really
course, there was
grim.
a bit that I think me and Manny saw it coming, and Ruby definitely saw it coming. That involves a heavy amount of blunt force trauma, aka this is the fucking sledgehammer dude. A woman gets her head bashed in, which me and Manny jump up in glee. Ruby hides her face and makes some kind of contorted pig-like sound. I can't do it, but she's not a fan of that.
Thanks, buddy.
And she was going like, why?
It's because we watched bloody Creep yesterday, and that's got some serious head trauma in it as well, and it's just too much for me.
So head trauma causes mental trauma for you?
Well, obviously I still love it. I love horror. But it's nasty. It's so nasty.
Manny had a bit of a man crush on the male owner of the store.
Oh, what the sort of the nerdy dude?
Yeah.
Oh, he was lovely. He was just charming, you know?
I loved the way he put like his lips curled into a smile after every talked about something nerdly about horror. You could tell, I don't know why, I could just feel like the actor was like, I just dropped in a sick bit. that people that know horror are going to like...
Sick reference.
Yeah, and obviously you got that, and then mixed with his little smile at the end, I think that really made you have a connection with him.
Yeah, I love that dude. I think the other thing I want to mention in this is the woman who plays...
Miss Tate,
She plays Miss Tate, is by a woman called Lorene Landon, who she was in a bunch of horror movies in the 80s, so it makes sense that she's in this. And one of them being Maniac Cop, which I must admit I have not seen. But
yeah, Jimmy wanted me to let everyone know that this was her return to horror after a very long hiatus. So I don't know how you managed to get her back in, but I'm glad you did, because she was so good.
She was great.
She gives like like you want to talk about like a one of those performances that is just like informed by comedy, and it is like so convincingly crazed. Like it's like she just does this whole thing where she's like really wide-eyed, and oh man, I couldn't stop watching her, man. It was she's brilliant. She's excellent.
Well, it really creates that situation, doesn't it, when it's just like uncomfortable, nervous laughter. You're just like,
Well, the guy that plays the detective, he actually acted that pretty well, just sitting there, leaning away from her. They were sat on the sofa together.
Yeah, taking his notes, like sort of looking at her. She was just just splurting out all of this stuff, like oh man, that was a special scene.
That's something the director told me. You guys will get a kick out of this. So to prepare for the crazy tendencies of her character Miss Tate, actress Lorene Landon used a stuffed animal therapy dog that she interacts with in the scene. Lauren even brought the stuffed animal with her in a dog carrier through security at the airport, which got some interesting reactions. So she would carry it around and get a bond with this dog.
Amazing.
Which of course plays out pretty well on screen.
Yeah.
It's a stuffed animal that she's like pretending it's a dog called Measles of all names.
Yeah.
I quite like that though.
Yeah, I like it, and yeah, I really actually got a feeling that she properly loved this dog in the film as well.
Yeah.
And that would explain why.
When she got it out and she was just like, oh, don't you want to pet Measles? And he just like, the guy just like looks at her like, no. And she's like, oh, you don't like dogs.
At that point, I was like, oh, she gonna do something.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like she gave that off. I legitimately thought she was gonna like fully snap. You know what I mean? It was funny, but like at the same time, it was like, holy shit, this woman is crazy. So yeah, like she the actress went the full-fledged to prepare for the crazed nature of the character, and man, it paid off. That was brilliant.
Well, this film actually, some people have already said that this is the Expendables of horror, because there are so many like famous people that have been in horror throughout the decades littered in here. Right. I don't want to give too many away because I really want to let the fans like find them for themselves. I'll give you one little tiny cameo though.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Runyon, who played the female student Jennifer in the opening of Ghostbusters opposite Bill Murray, has a little cameo in this.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, of course you've got Lorene Landon as well in there. So there's a few others in there. I think there's a few people from Friday the 13th and that kind of stuff. So if you've seen those movies and you know them well, you will have little moments of happiness as you recognise people in this.
Yeah. That's what I love about things like this, is it's like made by nerds for nerds, and it's just really nice. And like going back to the sort of video shop thing, it's like we get so much joy out of seeing someone else nerd out about the stuff that we like to nerd out about. It's
the
just
reason
nice.
we do the podcast.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's our people. What is the third segment? Do remind me.
So that is called Epidemic, and this one is quite. I feel like this is quite a slow burn. This one,
yeah, for
it's
sure.
The one that properly sets itself up for a crescendo of an ending.
Yeah,
we have a guy, and I feel bad. I don't know quite who this guy is, but I feel like he's been in something before.
Yeah, what the priest?
Yeah, I guarantee the Lozman from Twitter, he'll know who this guy is.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, let us know, because I know that you'll know. You know fucking everyone. You really do. But he's a priest, and he's giving this kind of like, I guess, Bible study group. What we call it. And then everything seems all nice and everything like that. And then someone asks how his wife is, and then you clearly something's wrong with his wife, and he says she has good days and bad days. We obviously get to see her in a bad day. Yeah, because he goes down into his basement, and there's just this crazed, gruesome-looking woman trying to get him, and he's got his gun, which I like the little effect of. He's got like a little crucifix wrapped around it, like a little Netflix,
a little necklace.
Hashtag Netflix. And he shoots her in the head.
Yeah, he does.
And
no fucking around.
No, I like that. Yeah. I like the fact that I really thought it was like, oh, she's going to break loose. We're going to have it's going to basically be half an hour of him being chased by her. And we don't. He shoots her straight away. And then he ends up in a padded cell with a straitjacket on. Yeah. And I think I want to ask Jimmy this, because you were asking it the whole time. What did they use to make this padded cell?
Yeah, we were trying to figure it out as we were watching it. So
it's not rice packets, I think I've worked out.
No, it wasn't packets of rice or like flour bags or something. But it was like we were like really deliberating and squinting our eyes trying to figure out what it was made out of. So yeah, no, that would be interesting to know. Yeah. But it was clearly a set that had been built, and let us know, because we're intrigued.
It's quite crazy, this one, actually. Basically, the devil appears after we go back to, like, what is it, like 18 something?
Oh, yeah, no, we need to talk about the segment where we go...
You love this. You love this so much.
Oh, man. So we go back to, like, the 1600s, which obviously... I think it was literally set in Salem as well, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And, we have ourselves, it starts with a guy who's writing about that his wife had been killed by a witch, or no, his brother had been killed by a witch. I apologise. And he said, he's gonna go out and take care of this witch. And he finds this witch, this sexy witch, and she is like proclaiming that her body and flesh belong to Satan while doing a sexy dance and touching herself a bit. And the whole set, again, I won't go into any more apart from that, so you can experience it for yourself. But I was fucking rolling, man. It's so good. The performances are so over the top. It is wonderful. Excellent stuff.
And with the guy that played the devil as well.
Oh my goodness. The guy who played the devil was astonishing in this. Like, he's so... So I'll just bring up.
It was great casting, like not just because of the acting, which was awesome, but the way he looked.
Yeah, completely.
His cheekbones were fucking amazing.
And we all know the devil is going to have some pretty great cheekbones. So
he should do.
As soon as he walked onto the screen, I said Lucifer, didn't I? And you were like, oh, maybe. And then about a minute later, it becomes very clear that yes, he is indeed Satan. So I was like, he just had to be with those cheekbones.
Damn, son. He becomes something which is going to really help me use my word to describe this, which we'll do later. But he becomes this creature, and it really reminded me, so it's in, I don't know if you all know this, Ruby, but Manny, okay, we're going to talk Star Wars here.
I know fuck all about Star Wars.
Shit, okay.
You're on your own there, buddy.
Empire Strikes Back, you go into Jabba's place, and there's this woman with this like head, and she's got those weird like lumpy appendages coming out of her head that are flopping behind her.
Yeah, I know what you mean, actually.
Like, are you talking about the cantina scene?
Yeah. And also in Jabba's like kind of lair where he's got Leia like trapped. Like there's this woman that's got like that like kind of lumpy. They look like.
I know what you're
like
talking
two
about.
tails
coming out of her head, and this is what this thing has, but nasty.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's another really sick bit of prosthetics work as well, actually.
Really cool.
It was certainly, it looked great, man, and it was, again, completely over the top. It was so entertaining, that like the transformation that Lucifer takes. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant.
I also want to go back to a scene from the Radical video segment, a bit that I didn't expect to see, and I didn't so the sledgehammer guy, he holds this woman's face up and opens her mouth, and I'm like, okay, we're not going to see her teeth get smashed in, but you do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit
She
much,
like
isn't it?
eats a sledgehammer and but that's the thing. Like, it's not just like loads of blood squirts out, which in a couple of seconds later you see, but like you just see like the teeth just like shatter and break.
Yeah, normally teeth stuff doesn't like massively bother me. Like I'm not afraid of the dentist or anything like that. But that one did, just because it was so just like unflinching.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is what happens if you get smashed in the face with
And
a
then
sledgehammer.
and then in like the next clip we see basically what looks like a big lump of meat being smashed by a thing, which is supposedly someone's face. We get a few shots of it, and that was nice.
That was special.
It was wet.
It was pretty moist.
And this is something as well, after Epidemic we get the crescendo of what happens in the wraparound, and that's something that I really enjoyed with this, is that, so back when we saw films like VHS, the wraparound are very loose and they're not really a story, and I think a couple of the ones on Netflix, they have their wraparound scenes, but they don't really, it's not really like a story that has an ending, it's just this kind of pretty pictures that happen in between stuff, or
Just to show you it's
great
transitioning.
animation. Yeah, but this story, we actually, like, when you get to see the driver appear on screen again, I was like, yes! We get to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, I like for sure. As soon as I saw the driver every time, it was like awesome, because that dude was so like sort of captivating. In his
Are we having fun now, Michael?
Yeah. Oh, the bit where he goes into the back of the trailer where he's like, wakey, wakey! It's so good.
He definitely got more and more manic with each every time he came back to him, it was like he'd stepped up a level.
It's like each story like brought him out a bit more.
Yeah.
There's a bit which we were like laughing as well, where so the two women he has locked up in the back, they stop for burgers, which actually was a burger place as well.
Yeah.
That gets credited. What is it? Burger World.
Big Burger
Big
World.
Burger World, that's it.
Actual place. Love to go there. Don't have the money, but maybe one day. So he buys everyone burgers because Michael's like, gotta feed my family. Even apart from at the start when Michael first wakes up, he looks in the glove box and a scorpion jumps out, which fair enough. But like the driver goes, oh fuck's sake, opens some jerky, and Michael just starts devouring it out of nowhere. Like, so he wakes up after like this shit's happened to him, and he's hungry for jerky. Man, I mean, I love jerky, but
there aren't many situations in which I would not eat jerky. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But so he buys burgers for the family, and he walks into the trailer and takes off their tape around their mouths and lets them have a sip from some drink. And then we were thinking, oh, no burgers, and he just puts the tape over their mouths and just chucks a bag of burgers. And they can't eat those burgers.
Their hands are tied.
They got tape on, but he's just like, here you go, have that.
Live
torture.
with the smell.
And that's another thing, that continuity check, the bag is still in there when we see it next time as well. It's a nice touch. We were really worried. Well, not really worried, but as finicky as I am with this stuff, and I am really bad, like at the start of each segment, it tells you what episode it is. And at number 2, the second segment, the second short, it didn't quite come up, and I even said
the title takes a little while to come up.
And I was like, please have a title, because if you're going to have a title in the first one and not in the second one, that's wrong. Jimmy didn't deny us that.
See, you say you're a sucker for the details, but I remembered that in the first one it took a while for the title screen to come up, so I wasn't worried. I knew it would come up eventually.
Yeah, that's why you weren't panicking like I was. I should have paid more attention.
That's real paying attention to details.
But yeah, the burger bag is still in the truck.
Yeah,
so
no.
All is well.
Yeah. And that, I don't want to say anything about the last segment, because you go through 2 hours, watching all this other great stuff to get to this bit, and to talk about it at all would ruin it.
Yeah, no. The final act is it just goes all out, doesn't it? Really, just in terms of like nuttiness.
It reminded me very, very, very slightly of The Devil's Rejects. That kind of on the road motels.
I get you.
Yeah.
Criminal activity in general. I don't know. It just little bit of a shadow there.
From Dusk Till Dawn as well.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. The first half from Dusk Till Dawn, where he's like George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino are keeping the family hostage.
That's
and
it.
You know what I mean? It definitely had that like road America kind of dusty road vibe.
Well, this is just how you do references right, isn't it? Like there's I think the most obvious one is the Exorcist reference.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I say obvious, but you, Manny, have an excellent memory for dates.
Yeah, well, for movies, not for anything else. I know when movies were released.
Yeah,
like so. Yeah,
and music.
Yeah, music.
Don't put yourself down.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a scene, the Epidemic, which obviously has a lot to do with like exorcism and possession, where is it the nun or the preacher says, "Oh, I haven't seen anything like this since the girl in '73."
Yeah, the nun says it too.
And the 73,
You jumped out of your seat.
I'm just going to double check on Google just to make sure that I'm not making a dick out of myself.
That's okay, while you do that.
But I'm absolutely certain, really, that the Exorcist was released in 1973. So, yeah, I caught you. Your reference didn't go on deaf ears. I know what you're doing.
While you do that, I just want to show Ruby the poster for this. I only printed out a small picture because I'm a doofus. But I think the poster for this kind of fits perfectly into what they're going for. Can you explain the picture, Ruby?
I mean, it is very small. I'm not going to lie, Robbie.
It will be bigger when we post it on Twitter, I promise.
Does that say no happy endings?
Yeah,
Love
which is
it.
something that the driver says at the end.
Yep.
Does he?
Yeah, he says, "You gotta know, Michael, all of my stories have bad... no, none of my stories have happy endings."
Of course,
That's right,
yeah. So that's like the tagline at the bottom, and the main picture is that a skeleton? Honestly, my eyesight is getting worse by the day. But I think it's this hooded skeleton reading from a storybook. And it looks quite gamey to me. Like an old school game, or is that just because it's so small and I can't see it properly?
It could also be like a metal album, but
have
minus the book.
Those sort of graphics, where it's like the sort of super, almost cheesy metal graphics.
Yeah, that definitely looks like it could be. I would say 1990s PC horror game.
Yeah,
like that kind of an aesthetic for sure. That could also be like a Death Thrash album cover, I'd say, like to get
specifically Death Thrash.
Yeah, specifically Death Thrash. It's not gory enough to be a straight up death metal album cover. Death Thrash, maybe blackened Death Thrash.
Well, the title...
Oh no, he's letting him do this.
Yeah, no, shut me the fuck up.
The title screen was similar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where it came up saying Terror Tales, and it was all dripping with blood and awesome.
I really like the name for this as well.
Yeah, it's
Terror
cute.
Tales. Well, yeah, no, it has. It's you know, you can imagine Vincent Price like reading it. Terror Tales. You know, it definitely has that vibe. It's got it down to a T.
For sure.
There's a great little trailer for this as well, which of course we will link everyone to.
Of course.
So you can watch it ahead of tomorrow's release.
Yeah.
If you're watching this the day of release, of course.
Yep.
So do we want? Have you found out whether it's?
Yeah, it was 73.
You were right.
Of course
you
it
were
was.
right.
You shouldn't doubt yourself.
Yeah, but hey, we're doing it for a podcast. You've got to get your facts right. You know what I mean?
Shall we do our words now?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do mine. I'm going to say moist. Because I don't get to say moist very much. I'm one of these people that I'm not offended by the word moist, but a lot of people... In fact,
I feel like you say it a lot.
Let's test how our listeners feel about this. Ready? Moist. Moist.
You're making it worse.
Yeah.
I won a bottle of champagne at a comedy night with Moist.
What?
Yeah,
What?
so do you not remember? So we went to this comedy night a long time ago.
Oh my
and,
God, yes.
And our local club in where we live had like shut down, and it was not a very nice club.
Are you
at all.
talking about Stripes?
Yeah, I was that comedy night. And
That's
the
a
guy,
football club.
It was a comedy night.
No, I know, but it's not a club. It's
Not that club shut down. The actual club here.
What, the Priz?
Yeah, that shut.
Okay, I'm confused. You carry on.
So that had shut down very recently as we went to this night.
I see.
And the guy said, if they were going to build another one, what would you call it? Write it down and put it in a hat.
Yeah.
The winner wins a bottle of champagne. And people were coming up with stuff like, I don't know, dirty, stinky bar, or like, you know, worse things than that. And I just put moist. And I saw the guy laugh as he read it, and I thought, I've won that bottle of champagne. And yeah, I did. So moist is a great word. And it's...
What was moist about this?
The characters, the two, so the Ink Man and the devil at the end of the other one, they're like so wet to me. They look so moist. Their faces are like the prosthetics. All of the prosthetics in this look wet and nasty. Like, and also just all of the blood makes everything moist. I've said it like 1,000 times. I'm sorry if we have any listeners that don't like that word, but that is my word, and I'm sticking to it. Moist.
Fair enough.
Alright, I'm going next because I literally, when we'd finished watching, we were sort of preparing, I made an actual point of saying to the other two, I am claiming fun. Neither of you two are saying fun. I'm having fun because
You did all lose your shit a lot.
I haven't laughed this much at a movie, laugh watching a movie as much as this for a long time. I mean that very sincerely. I was laughing my arse off. at this movie. It was so much fun. I mean, it was just if you enjoy like these kinds of like over the top, like really like nutty, insane kind of like tongue in cheekish kind of anthology movies, like 100% like recommend it. Like definitely, it's a blast, man. So fun.
So moist and fun so far.
Moist and fun. Oh, that gives off.
Last week it was an air freshener. This week it's a sex toy.
Well, you can save it for us.
I was going to say nuts, but I'm definitely not going to say that now.
Moist, fun nuts.
I'm not saying nuts. No nuts.
Oh.
Okay, I really hope no one's listening this too loud, but Manny may have broken some ears. By the way, listeners, this is what Manny sounded like going through this whole film. The amount of times Manny had to apologise because we missed bits.
Oh.
Okay. No nuts. I'm gonna say.
You're alright, buddy.
Jesus.
I might say manic. It's a bit manic, this film.
Yeah.
It's the main villain, the driver, he's definitely pretty manic.
Yeah.
The other villains in it have that too going on, like Satan in Epidemic. I guess the mother character in By Proxy.
Definitely.
She's accused of
Munchausen's disease.
Okay, we're gonna say it. Cool.
Yeah.
She's accused of having Munchausen's disease, and she's not definitely not a completely sane person.
No, definitely not.
And then Radical Video, the sledgehammer character is super left of centre.
Oh, that bit where he stares at the camera for ages. That's so.
Yeah, and he pulls some expressions I've never seen before. Some serious acting going on there. And yeah, just like the plot in general, the pacing of it is manic. Like the whole thing is just crazy, but in the best possible way.
You will be entertained for the whole 2 hours.
You will find yourself saying, "Wait." But, like, again, in the best possible way.
Yeah, there are some fantastic what the fuck moments in this. It's sublime.
It is.
There will be some people that watch this and don't get it, and to those people, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, no, completely.
I know there will be people
Oh, man.
going, Terror Tales, that looks cool. Oh, what's going on? I don't, is it trying to be funny? I think, yes, it is. It knows what it's doing. Sit down and
Shut up.
Appreciate the moistness. Moist, fun, not nuttiness.
Roll around in the moist fun nuts.
The moist, fun
No, we're going to watch you from our high horse rolling around in these moist fun nuts. For sure.
So that was our 0.5 production on Terror Tales by Jimmy Lee Combs. Actually, as well, in a month's time in February, it's coming out on DVD, so if you fancy the DVD version, you will be able to get one.
In time for Valentine's Day?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Yeah, so be ready for that to come out tomorrow. We'll post it all on our Twitter and everything like that. And yeah, that was moist, fun, and manic.
Yep, absolutely.
So if you, I don't know where to go from here. We haven't had a break yet, but I feel like we have, and I forgot what I'm doing at this point of the podcast. What do we want to say?
We
want to say Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah,
but yeah, on
sure.
Twitter we are at Watch Horror Pod, all one word. At Instagram and Facebook we are Ruby.
Let's Watch Horror.
And if you have a,
I think it's Let's Watch Horror Pod. I forget every week.
Yeah. But if you have a independent horror movie that you would like reviewed, send us an email at letswatchhorror@gmail.com and we will get in touch with you. And we can't promise that it will come out super quick because we're gaining speed with this now. We're actually getting quite a few. I've actually made a little folder.
Awesome.
Yeah, no.
Which I show you every time I see you, Manny, because I'm proud of my little folder.
Yeah, no, your organisational skills are on point.
Yeah, and we will give you all the questions for all the information we need and everything like that. Next week's episode is very exciting because we're going to test our new experiment, which is going to be a debate.
Yes.
And it is all about whether or not we think, or as a group, we can have an argument about it. That's the whole point
Doesn't
of the debate.
that come out technically later this week?
Yes, yeah, in a few days' time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, we bought a calendar as well, so we really know what's going on.
We
apart
really
from I
needed
don't.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about whether or not found footage has a history, and we've had a poll out on Twitter, and that's done really well. We've got some good people have had a great discussion about that.
Has a future.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
what did I say?
Has a history.
Yeah.
Has a history.
It certainly has a history.
God.
It certainly has a history.
I'm still hungover from New Year's, apparently, even though it hasn't happened yet. Oh man.
We're going to have a general debate about found footage movies because it's a contentious kind of a topic around this table. It's one that there are very varying opinions on. We do not agree on it, so we figured it would be an interesting topic.
It'd be fun to unpack.
Yeah, definitely, and there's a lot to unpack, I think, so you should definitely check it out once it gets released.
Yeah, and you should definitely check out Terror Tales, dropping on VOD tomorrow. Do it. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and also thank you to Tommy Musgrove for our lovely artwork.
Always.
This has been a blast. See you later, guys.
In a bit.
Love you.
Bye.